It's here. Junk Journal July has begun for 2025. And I am super excited to be here. Welcome to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann, and I am ready to get started. I've got the beginnings of my page here and an idea, and that's about it. So let's take a look at this. These are the pages. Well, actually, this is the page that I'm going to use. I'm going to leave this one alone just because I like it. I like the quote. I'm just going to kind of leave it here. So I'm going to use this page. But if we flip back to the prompts, we can see that day one is star. And so I'm going to use this for star. And I gave a little bit of thought to that and remembered that at the probably a month ago, I had gone to Barnes & Noble, and they had calendars on clearance. And this is a small wall calendar featuring the works of Van Gogh. And I thought it was cool and would be some great art to use in my journal, either as collage or to cut out. And I thought, star. And my initial thought was to grab the picture of Starry Night and use that. And so that's what I was going to do. And then as I opened it up and I was flipping to that, I got to this very first page and ooh la la, I found this page. And I absolutely love these stars here. And so I thought, well, I could use that down the side of the page and then do something else on the rest of the page. And then I thought, oh, my little vintage ladies, and I've got this one here. And doesn't she look like a star, like a vintage star? So she doesn't color-wise quite match. This is actually a little bit faded out, but I'm gonna play with that a little bit and see if I can't rectify that problem. So I'm going to use some paint pens to do that. So and other than that, I really don't know what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So I'm going to take her and set her over to the side for now. And I definitely want to use this page. So I'm going to go ahead and not too bad, tear that out of my journal or the calendar. And just to compare, this is almost exactly the same height as this particular paper. It's just a sliver shorter. So I am going to take my cutting board and just take a sliver. Maybe that wasn't quite a big enough sliver. Oh, no, actually that might be just what I needed. Let's see here. Oh, couldn't have been better. So now I have to decide how far I want to tear it. And I love this line here. And I was thinking she would be cool, you know, if she sort of sat just inside of this. So I'm going to tear, I think, sort of right along here. Oh, I'm going to have to clean some of that up, I think. Got a lot of white up here, a little more than I really want or need. Let me trim that a bit. And I'll save this for something else. If nothing else, it'll make really interesting collage fodder. So I will add that to my bin because it would be nice to repeat it somewhere else in the journal. So if I put this here, this is popping out, and I'm not sure that I am totally in love with that. But I do like her here. though I need something for her to be grounded on. What would be really fun is if I could find or make a giant star and have it kind of popping and she could be standing on the star. I love that. So we'll get stars a couple of different ways. And then I still need to decide what to do back here. Maybe some book text or some oh, you know, what would be lovely is if I could find some music with the word star in it. Would that be cool or what? Maybe she's a music star. I might do something like this because I like the idea of bringing in this color and making it match, but I'm gonna wait for the moment because the first thing I need to do is get her painted. And I'm gonna get the journal out of the way, and I'm gonna keep this here because this is sort of my color inspiration. And I need, where did I put just a little piece of scrap paper here to get these prepped. So I'm gonna start with the skin tones, and she's gonna end up looking a little bit cartoony, and I'm okay with that. All right, this is really runny. All right, so I think I'll start with her head, and right now I'm not gonna worry too much about her features. I will add them in later should I decide that they're necessary. Right now, again, I'm treating her a little more like almost like a paper doll of sorts. And you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but her features are coming through a little bit, and I'm okay with that because I can use them later to help me draw them in. Faces are not my forte. So right now I am literally I'm just coloring. I'm using the paint pens to color that in, and then I think she's wearing stockings, but I'm going to just let her legs be all natural. Okay, so that's her skin, and then I'll let it dry, and then I will add her dress. Now, I would love to be able to give it this shape here. Not sure that I can really do that with the paint pens. So yeah, that may not happen, but we'll see. I'll get this one shaken. See how. Let me actually zoom this in. I'm just realizing it's a little bit far away, so you can see it a little bit better. I also, I probably should have done this before I painted her. I'm just realizing that there's a little bit of white edge and she looks a little bloated. So I'm gonna trim that off so that she isn't extra. And then, all right, so this is good and it's working. And I wanted to see, because this dress is gonna need to work with the background. I want her to stick out. Yeah, that'll be nice. I don't think I want her in a yellow dress. So we'll start here. I'm also not sure what she's holding in her hand. I might cut that off and give her something else. I haven't quite decided. Again, I'm gonna just really lightly, and I left that little white bit because I will cut that away. And turn this, I'll hold on to here, so that I can keep this from scooching as so what I'm sort of hoping is that as I color this, that blue will fade through, that darker blue will eke through a little bit like her eyes did, and I'll get a little sense of the shading from that. Or maybe even sort of, oh, I kind of like that. Not completely coloring it in, just letting some of the printed part shine through. Yeah, that's nice. Actually, I wonder if I could. Now okay, I sort of am sort of liking that look a lot. So gonna stick with that, and this little bit of white that's showing through, I'm actually kind of okay with that as well. And then we'll give her the blues. We'll give her some blue shoes. Oh, they're very blue. I might have to go back and make them black once that's dry, because I don't like that shade of blue. It's not quite as navy as I was hoping it would be, which is fine. I'll just make it black. And then I think I am going to give her black hair. And then I'll come back, I'll add a jewel for her later there, and I'll also give her a headband later. But for now, just there. Okay, so that's, so far so good. That's turning out pretty good. And I think she will, I don't want to touch the wet part. I think she'll look really interesting on here. I do think I'm going to need to give her something different behind her to make her stand out. But that's a good start. I'm going to push pause right now and let this dry, and then I'll come back and change her shoe color to black, which I think will work a whole lot better. And then we'll tackle the star. Hello and welcome back. I actually, it's the next day. I didn't end up having time in the evening to continue with the video. So I'm back. I am super happy now that this is dry with how this turned out, and I'm really glad that I left the shading here. I like it, and I'm gonna keep it there. I definitely am going to take this off, and I'm gonna add her headband back in with the same color blue, and eventually I will put a little jewel where that is supposed to be. But for now, I want to finish her up. I'm going to make a star for here, and then I've got to figure out something to do in the background, and then we'll see what's next. Okay, so I'm gonna work on her. So let me move this out of the way for just a moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this extra off. Oops, went a little far there. Okay. She's got a little bit that needs to come off of her chin there, a little black. Okay. So there's that. And then her headband, I think, should go. Trying to draw it just lightly in pencil so I can follow it. And then this is still good. So then we'll go ahead and trace that. Cute. All right, and then the last thing that I need to do for her right now is I'm going to go ahead and cut out this little bit of white that I don't want. I apologize if you can hear the neighbors working on edging his property. You can hear that out the window. There. So that way a little bit can peek through there. Okay, so I'm gonna let her just, her little headband there dry. So I'm gonna set her aside for now. And the next thing that I want to do is, get these scissors out of the way, is I want to figure out what I can do in the background here, because I don't like this. It's too stark. So I went through my stash, grabbed a couple of things that I thought could be interesting. So I'm gonna go through those and just sort of see what feels like works. So again, if I put this here, that's actually, let me grab her. That's sort of interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that. And it brings the colors from this in nicely. And there's also a little bit of yellow, so it sort of fits with the yellow that's going on here. It's got a little bit of red. I'm not sure if I like that, but I do like this. So this is a contender. So set this one in the maybe pile. And then I grabbed this one. It's very busy, but I liked the yellow. And I thought I would be much more in love with this than I am. The yellow's a little off, I think. So this is a no. Okay, then I was also thinking just possibly about text. So I have this book page from Henry V. It's really thin, just to see what it might, how that might look. And it's okay, but not very interesting. So that's going to be a no. Put that there for now. Okay. Then I grabbed some sheet music because I always love sheet music. And obviously I would probably use, and again, it just, no, it doesn't make sense to me. So that's also a no. Now I grabbed this and I think it's super busy, but I thought possibly because of the blue that might be interesting. Kind of like it, but not really. And if I put the star here, this brown is going to get covered up. I wonder what would happen if I did it the other way and put it up here. So that could be interesting. I think it might be too much. Then there's this side. What about this? That's kind of interesting. I sort of like this with it, and I also do kind of like this brown here with it as well. So that's actually a possibility. And then I also grabbed this. I'm really not sure why, other than it has black in it. And I don't know, it sort of feels Great Gatsby to me as well. And again, I think this is too suggestive and this is too literal, and they don't really work together well at all. Oh, hang on, I just knocked something on the floor. Okay, so I think it's one of these two. It's either this, which is definitely more subtle, or the brown. The brown. I thought it was going to be this one, but I like the brown. Okay, so now I got to figure out where to trim this. So we'll start it about there. I'm really totally eyeballing this. Because it's what I do. So the question is, if I cut it off and I just get rid of all of that blue, will I have enough? Yeah, I'm just going to trim. I'm just going to trim it right here. Save that little snippet for something. And then this will go here, right up against the edge, and that'll go there. Perfect. Now the only question is, how far do I want to? I think I want it to go this way. I like this better than this, so that's what we'll do. Okay. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'll take this and real quickly go most of the way up, and then go, and set her aside, and then come back. This is kind of guggy. Get rid of that, and then doing this on the rings is not the best idea. I do want to, I've got this little teeny hole here, and I do want to kind of get rid of that hole, so I'm going to take a little piece from this paper that I just cut off and just cover up, oops, cover that hole. And then I'm going to line this up with the edge of the page. There. And you can still see that a little bit, but it's not terribly prominent. And then I'll trim that later once the glue dries. Okay, so starting to get some shape here. All right, so I wanted to put a star here for her to stand on because she's floating right now. And I couldn't find one. I don't have a die cut. I don't have any stars that I could trace, so I got just a flyer, a little heavier paper that I got in the mail, and I drew with a pencil until I got something that I liked. And I don't really care about the lines of the ink because I'm going to cover this over. I just need something to be the form, I guess. And it's a little wonky. It's not a perfect star, and I'm okay with that. Now, really, that yellow almost could have worked. But I thought that it would be, let me get this out of here. Actually, I might hold on to that logo. So I've got this star shape, and she'll go on here somehow. So she's standing on the star, probably something like that. But first I need to cover this. So again, I'm going to move her out of the way. And to cover this, I have this foil wrapper from some chocolate. And I sort of like the way it looks kind of crinkly. So I'm going to go ahead and crinkle up what I have here. This way, no, this way. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stick, and screw it up good, and then screw it away, and then place. I don't have that. I don't want this seam this time. No, let's do that. And a little bit. So maybe like that. Smush it down, flip it over, push this down away, and then I thought I would do is just kind of go around the outside, like so, and then just fold it over, actually a little bit more glue on the back. Should go to the center. Each of these rounded down. And then fold in. Oopsie. Not just a little bit there. Okay. And then there. And keep overlapping. Other side. What I should probably do is I think I just fold it down this way first on the point, and then I fold it in like so, and then in like so. A little bit of overlapping there. Back. Just looking. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alright, and then this one. Glue dry. Reglue it. It's a little bit of foil, so it's going to hold its shape somewhat. Just don't want a ton of bulk. So just a little bit. And then one more side here, and then way too much. Come up here. Not so great on the back, but on the front it turned out pretty good. So let's bring our page back in here. And I see now what happened is this is folded over that way. All right, okay, that's fabulous. So I'm thinking that the star will go like this, and then she can stand maybe right there. So just sort of oh yeah, loving that mark. If I can see that. Just okay. I think this one rather than glue stick, I'm going to use some Regular glue. What did I decide? No, that's not gonna hold. I flipped it around. This way. Right? No. Oh, goodness. So she's gonna get out there. Be like, no, that's a mark. There's a mark. Okay, what's like that? It's definitely like that. So that means I've got to cut this right there. Oops, sorry, I just realized I'm doing that completely off camera. Just gluing this down. Okay, it is not liking that glue. Okay, so I'm going to use some more glitter glue here. And I'm a little bit okay if the edges peel up a little bit. I kind of like the dimension. Ooh, thunder. Yep, there it goes. All right, and then so put this here, and then I kind of want to weight this down a bit. So I think I'm going to weight this down and let it sit for a few minutes to make sure that it stays stuck. Well, I thought the storm was over. It's still thunder rumbling a little bit. I had some weight on this, so it's much more secure. I went ahead and trimmed off the top here, and I trimmed off the bottom edge of the star. And now I need to focus on her a little bit, get her a little bit more zhuzhed up, give her something behind her, since I cut off that whatever it was that was back behind her. And I also need to come up with some words for her, some sort of text. But first I wanna tackle this headband. So again, I'm gonna move this out of the way. And I wanted something sparkly. I don't have I was hoping for like a sequin or some sort of jewel. I don't have a gold one. I do have this silver one, but I think it's too big. So I don't know if you can see that. Actually, I could probably just zoom it in. Here, let me see if I can zoom in the camera. It's a little large. Not huge, but it's a little large. So it could work. But then I remembered that I had these stickles. So I thought I'd give this a try. I'm going to use my little scrap paper again. And that's not going to work here. Let me just tear off a piece and see what this looks like color-wise. So it's close, has a little bit of sparkle to it. That could, I don't know, that seems kind of boring. The more I think about it, the more I sort of like this little oversized bit of stuff here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Glue that on here. If I can get my glue to cooperate. Oh, that was a lot of glue. Probably should have used the narrow nozzle. Get a little tissue here to dab off some of that. And then put this on there. And let her sit. Oh, what did I get on? Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for a moment or two and dry. And while that is sitting and drying, I was trying to figure out what to do behind her, and I remembered I had bought this feather thing. I think you're supposed to use it in like flower arrangements. It's super cool. Actually, let me zoom back out a little bit here. It's super cool. And I thought maybe, I love these. They're very glam. So I thought maybe I could cut out some of this and use it, and then also maybe one of these brown feathers and another one of these black feathers behind, to sort of zhuzh her up a bit. So I'm actually gonna see if I can take this apart to get to the feathers. Okay, well, I'm really glad that I did that off camera, because turned out they were glued on, and I ended up having to cut them off. We have feather carnage everywhere, and now I have this pile of feathers, and these are, gosh, they're so, I don't know if you can see the iridescent look of these, but they're just beautiful. They are so unbelievably glued in that I think I'm just going to have to take off as much as I want. So I was thinking maybe that much, and just maybe a little more. No, that much is good. Take this much and then just cut it off, because I don't really know what else to do. Yeah, so I think I am going to take a bit of this micropore tape and just tear off a piece of it, just to help keep them together. Kind of pull these down and then wrap this around the bottom edge of these, just to help keep them together as a unit. And then I'll cut off. So maybe this will make sense. So I sort of tape them together at the bottom so that they would stay together and not go all crazy. And then I can add them in. Okay, and I think that is probably dried enough. So we'll take our, ooh, feathers everywhere. We'll take our pile of feathers over here, and oh gosh, bring our page back. So if she sits there, her little toes sticking off the side, and then maybe, there was this one, I thought this was really pretty. It's got some of the brown and the black. So I thought maybe if that came here like that, and then little zhuzh here. Just kind of playing with it right now, so it's there. I think it needs maybe one more. I want it to be, oh, this one is gorgeous. It's got a that iridescent look to it. Nope, not liking that. I can splay these out once I glue them, so I'm not as concerned about that. I sort of just like this and this together, and then her. So she's going to be there. So this would have to come down a little bit further. Actually, might be a better angle anyway. Kind of like that. And then I'm actually thinking maybe I'll glue this, cut it there, and then glue this to her so that it's kind of behind her. Yeah, that totally works. All right, now figuring out how to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a piece of double-sided tape and put it on the back of this. Like, maybe if I can get it to not stick to my fingers. And then peel this off. I actually have tweezers, but it's now become a personal thing. I'm getting this, there we go, getting this off. There, I think that'll be cleaner then. So if that's gonna go there, and then we want this way. Yep, there we go. And then we'll cut off the part we don't need and get more crazy feathers everywhere. All right, and then she's gonna go right there. And I think I'll get this out of the way. And then I want the iridescent part to go here. And actually, just like that is perfect. So this part I am going to glue. Some glue there. And with it sort of splayed out like that. No, don't hide behind there, you little turkey. I want you in front. There we go. There. And then let's get some glue on her. Oops. I'm going to put a good amount of glue down the center. Then I'm going to flip it over, put the nozzle back on. And then go around the edge. It's almost out of glue. I think the storm has finally passed. Sun is out, although there's still a little bit of rumbling in the distance. Okay. And then put her, make sure we hide that feather. And she's standing fairly upright. And yeah. Oh, I forgot her shoe. Some glue on her shoe. Hold this down a bit. And she does not want to stay stuck. Give it a little bit of help while I zhuzh this a bit. Okay. All right, now I'm going to let that sit. Let me grab my feather mess, get this all out of the way. I've got a good cleanup job today. All right, and then, you know what, I had also thought about possibly adding this as well, kind of behind her, and I think I could still do that. This tall vase thing, let me undo here. Let me cut that off and retape this. And I wouldn't need the bird necessarily, oops, for the quote. It's a really light quote. I can't even tell what it says. Probably could if I put it on something light. Just go around this. So I'm not even sure that I want to use it, but I had the idea. So I'm going to try it and see. These scissors are old. They cut okay, but they're kind of stiff. They belong to my grandmother. And so I keep them and I use them just because it makes me think of her. So I've got this, and it seems sort of elegant, and so I wondered if perhaps that would be interesting. No, I don't think so. Not feeling it. I don't want to detract from the iridescence of this that picks up the gold and the stars. I do like the idea, and it definitely fits her. And I sort of like the idea that she's tucked behind, but this is a no. This is a big old no. Maybe I'll use that somewhere else. Okay, so in retrospect, this doesn't look very summery or very boho, which was sort of the theme of my journal, but she's kind of fun. So I'm happy with her. Let's see, we need, oh, I need to give her a face. So now I am not good at drawing people. Yeah, see, I've already messed that up. Here, get my rubber eraser. I can see where her eyes are. Okay. All right, see if I can. Just a suggestion. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, she doesn't have to be perfect. And then maybe just give her a little bit of pink. Is this enough? A little bit of color on her cheeks. No, that's not enough color. Just a little more pink. I'm not sure that it reads, but anyway. Then I think I will also give a little bit of detail to the outline of her dress there. Okay, she's working for me. I don't usually do people because I don't usually do them very well, but I'm happy with that. I'm having a tough time manipulating these. Where are my tweezers? They were just right here. Out of my desk, are they? Oh, here they are. They were buried down underneath. There we go. Okay. And then I need some sort of a quote. And it would be great if I could find something with a star, the word star in it. Oh, look, the little stars. That could work. All the beautiful stars of the sky. All the beautiful stars of the sky. Where can I fit that here maybe? All the beautiful. I really want it there, but it's just a tad. Huh? All the beautiful stars of the sky. All right, this is bugging me. I think I'm gonna take off the comma. Oops. I want it there, but that interferes with her foot. All the beautiful stars of the sky. Okay, so we'll put it there. And then where did I decide I was going to put it? Right here, I think. All the beautiful stars of the sky. And that glue that is oozing out will dry clear, so we won't see that. Okay, now the only other thing I need to do, and I can't, is I want to add a number 1 to this so that I remember that this was for prompt number 1 star, but I don't have the machine. I ordered it, but it hasn't come yet. So that will have to wait. That'll probably go right down here in the corner, and it'll just be a number 1. That's all it'll be. So.